Hi and welcome to Z Games. Recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios in Brisbane and broadcast nationally over the Community Radio Network, Z Games brings you the latest gaming news, reviews and interviews from across Australia and around the world.
Greetings, welcome once again to another exciting episode of Z Games, heard in Brisbane on 4ZZZ, thanks to the magic of FM broadcasting around Australia for the benefit of humankind, thanks to the Community Radio Network. I am Reza, joined by my illustrious co-hosts, Jody and Lee.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
And we also have a special guest for us for the duration of this episode, Jason Stark.
Hello!
Thanks for coming in, man.
No, it was great. Absolutely. It's worth it just to experience this building.
Jason is a games developer. He's working on a game called Ninja Pizza Girl.
That's it.
And you are also a member of Disparity Games.
I'm a member. Yes, my official role is father, is dad in Disparity Games. It's pretty much just our family. It's me, my wife, and our, how old is she? 17-year-old daughter. She ages every year, so it's hard to keep track.
That's awesome that you guys have a family game studio.
That's just because they're the cheapest people we could find.
Fair enough.
We couldn't afford any other artists. And it's like, oh, Raven, you can draw. And, yeah.
So we'll be chatting to Jason later about the Kickstarter that you just launched last week. But first, let's kick this episode off with the week in gaming news headlines. Mr. Jody McGregor?
Microsoft has announced the largest staff cut in the company's history, with as many as 18,000 jobs to be cut over the next fiscal year, representing 14% of its total workforce. While most of the layoffs will be from the recently acquired Nokia unit, Xbox Entertainment Studios will also be closed in the coming months. Xbox Entertainment Studios was founded to create original television programming to be shown exclusively on the Xbox Live network. Some projects, such as the Ridley Scott-produced Halo Nightfall series and the Signal to Noise documentary series, the first episode of which will cover the unearthing of the ET Atari cartridges in the New Mexico desert, will continue despite the closure. This news follows recent announcements by newly appointed Xbox head Phil Spector explaining that the Xbox One console will be shifting away from its initial course as an all-in-one entertainment system to instead become a dedicated gaming console.
Has anything that Microsoft announced last year not been reversed?
They did end up actually finding all those ET cartridges like they said they would.
True that.
And they haven't put them back in yet either, so that's still good.
Yeah, they'll be known as TE cartridges.
Mm.
Oh, bad pun. No, I just think it's fantastic that it's taken Microsoft a year or so to realise that they make video games. It's like everyone else on the planet knew they made video games. There would have been like a couple of people in there very high up who got very excited about not making video games, and they would have been too important to contradict.
Yes.
And it sounds like they've gone away, and everyone's going, oh, thank God.
Funnily enough, Sony just at E3, they announced that they were doing this whole entertainment TV thing as well, and I just have to wonder if this is going to go the same route.
I look forward to hearing about them unearthing, I don't know, like some lost episode of Alex Kidd or something that was buried in another landfill, and then that costing them enough money that they have to fire a huge portion
More people
of
than they ever have.
Yeah.
It would be very hard for me to fire 14% of my company. I'd have to cut off a body part or something. We don't have enough people.
That got dark.
It did, didn't it?
Well, hey, I'm an indie games developer. That's where I live.
This is going to be a good precedent. I'm looking forward to the rest of this episode.
2 EA-published titles have been delayed. Dragon Age Inquisition's launch has been pushed back 6 weeks and is expected for release in Australia on the 21st of November. Executive producer Mark Darrah said that extra time was needed to give the game extra polish. Battlefield Hardline, the cops and robbers themed shooter being developed by Dead Space studio Visceral Games, has been delayed until early 2015. Originally scheduled for late October, the team has delayed the game to address feedback submitted by players of the recent beta and to ensure game and server stability at launch.
So with that extra month, it's quite likely that now everyone will actually be able to expect the Inquisition.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'll see myself out.
Yeah, get out of here.
It's been nice knowing you.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I'm really pleased about that decision because it means I get an extra, what was it, month? Was it delayed by a month? I get an extra month, 6 weeks. I get an extra 6 weeks of productivity out of my artist. Because as soon as it's released, that's all she's doing. She has been talking about nothing else. for the last year or so.
It was announced for the same day as the Lord of the Rings game, Shadows of Mordor. So, I also am glad it's being delayed for 6 weeks.
I'm glad that Hardline's being delayed as well. I mean, look at how Battlefield 4 launched. It was a pretty shoddy, unstable launch. So I think that everyone would just like this game to just work out of the box. So, I mean, that's good that they're delaying it till next year.
You're hoping for like a 2016 release then on that one, Ray?
We'll see.
A legal matter between Halo and Destiny studio Bungie and Marty O'Donnell, the long-time composer of the Halo soundtrack, has been resolved out of court. Bungie fired O'Donnell earlier this year without providing a reason for his dismissal. O'Donnell then filed a suit against Bungie for unpaid work and holiday pay, which they claimed he was not entitled to. The case was resolved this week when Bungie agreed to an out-of-court settlement worth $95,000.
Got to be happy with that. There's such a petty amount of money. I mean, in the scale of these companies, it would be like you and I making world news for our bickering over $20. It's like the negative publicity they've received is worth that much money. So there was some. I would love to know what was the actual cause of that. Was
like that's Bungie's brunch expenses.
It really is. So it's like someone really hated someone else.
Yeah.
I'd love to know why.
The cast and crew of Naughty Dog's hit survival adventure game The Last of Us will be reunited next week for a special one-time only theatrical show. Select scenes from the game will be performed by the voice actors, including Troy Baker, the voice of Joel and Ashley Johnson, the voice of Ellie.
Smooth.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann will direct the show, and Oscar-winning composer Gustavo Santaolalla will perform parts of the score live. The event will be held next week in Santa Monica and will be streamed live via Twitch, YouTube, and the PlayStation Network.
I would probably watch that.
Does that mean, like, if I watch that, do I need to play the game?
You should, because it actually is quite a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Troy Baker, even though he's in everything. He kind of won me over because he's the voice of Kanji in Persona 4 and the voice of Vincent in Catherine, and I'm just a huge fan of his work.
Well, that's because he's the voice of everything.
Yeah.
So he's bound to get some good roles.
That's probably it, yeah.
A crowd-funded game developed in partnership with popular YouTube channel Yogscast has been cancelled, and the studio formed to create the game has been dissolved. The Kickstarter campaign to fund the development of Yog Ventures was launched in May 2012 and reached $567,000, more than doubling its goal of $250,000. The game was described as a multiplayer open-world sandbox game featuring characters designed by Simon and Lewis of the Yogscast, who gained online prominence with their Minecraft and World of Warcraft YouTube videos. The game was scheduled for release in December 2012, only 7 months after the end of the campaign. Though the Yogscast brand was used heavily to promote the Kickstarter campaign, the Yogscast team has effectively divorced itself from the project, attributing responsibility solely to Wintercool Games, a 6-person independent studio that was formed to develop the game. Yogscast issued an initial statement saying that although they had no obligation to provide anything, backers would receive a copy of TUG, another Kickstarter-funded game with a premise similar to Yogs Ventures. Frustrated backers, some of whom donated up to $10,000, have voiced concerns about the lack of transparency regarding the allocation of the funds. Wintercool project director Chris Vale has also issued statements holding himself personally responsible for the failed project. He also admitted that $35,000 of the money was wasted when an artist who was hired to work on the game stopped working on it after gaining employment elsewhere, even though the $35,000 lump sum had already been paid to him up front. Due to the fact that there was nothing in the contract that specified the terms of when he could stop working on the game, the money was also not able to be legally recovered. He also said that $150,000 was transferred to Yogscast after they found out about this incident and subsequently lost faith in his ability to lead the project. The $150,000 is still unaccounted for as it was used to pay a lead programmer who was never hired. In a brief statement released over the weekend, Yogscast's Brindley said, "We're not ready to make a detailed statement about what happened with Yog Ventures. Wintercool's statement omits much, and I would disagree with a number of points, but there's no value in going into detail."
They might not be willing to go into detail, but apparently we are. So, Jason, I was watching your face during that.
It's just sorry. It's stupid. I do feel bad because, I mean, the backers who have lost money and, more importantly, lost... Because everyone backs Kickstarter because of a dream, an idea. It's not, a sensible financial decision. And to have it fall apart is going to be an emotional thing. So I do apologize to all the people, but for a developer watching this, it's just hilarious. It was a massive comedy of errors. It's really like a John Cleese film watching this. I mean, the most important thing is, look, even very big companies like Microsoft, they do a lot of work, due diligence, and they check your books, and they still back failures. So it's not Kickstarter. It's just the nature of the beast. This is a high-risk industry, and you've just got to accept that when you hand your money over in Kickstarter.
It seems like the guys were particularly negligent, though, in this case.
They were.
And I think, anyone who's going to back a project like this, you should take more than just a glance at the page and make sure that these guys are trustworthy with this money.
I guess so, but the biggest problem is the skill set required to look convincing and market a Kickstarter is a completely different skill set to actually delivering on a Kickstarter. And this is actually a problem in actual games development too. The skill set to sell yourself to investors has nothing to do with your ability to actually give the investors what they want. And while there's that disparity, there's not really anything investors can do. You just, you back the things that you care about, and you cross your fingers and hope. Unless it's mine, of course, we're good.
So $560,000 though, that'd be nice, right?
Yeah.
How does it feel though, the fact that they squandered away or threw away into the wind or pissed away or whatever? They literally just lost about as much money as you're asking for in your entire campaign.
They've lost much more though. Look, it happens. I mean, let's switch political. I mean, Tony Abbott's lunch allowance is more than what we're asking for. I mean, you can't get hung up on the crazy amounts of money being squandered in this world. You just focus on what's important.
Yep. All right, well, that's it for this week in news headlines. Next up, we're going to be talking to Jason about his game Ninja Pizza Girl. You're listening to Zed Games. My name's Razor. I'm joined by co-hosts Jody and Lee. And right now we have in the studio with us Mr. Jason Stark of Disparity Games. Welcome once again, man.
It's great to be here.
I think we're going to welcome you like 3 times in this episode.
That's fine. I feel very welcome.
But you've just launched a Kickstarter last week to fund your game Ninja Pizza Girl.
That's it.
And you're asking for what, $38,000?
35.
35.
Feel free to give us 38. That's cool.
And what are you up to now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'd have to check in my phone, actually. We're like 53%. So that's like 18, 19. We're not quite 20 yet, I think.
When you've got an active Kickstarter campaign, how tempting is it to just check in on the figure?
Sit there and hit the refresh button. Look, I can do a big lecture about how I have self-control and discipline and everything, but that's only because I know my wife is clicking it constantly and she'll just keep me updated. So I'm very lucky. She's sort of like taking 80% of the Kickstarter stress upon herself. And so I've got that nice buffer.
Speaking of your wife, Disparity Games is a family business. It's a family game studio.
That's right. It's me, my wife, and we both worked in the games industry for ages, so we'd been working together for long. It's not like I just grabbed my wife, who was an accountant, and said, "Make games with me." No, we'd worked forever for ages. And my daughter, who has just drawn her entire life and actually wants to be a comic artist. But we just co-opted her, and she's our 2D artist. And she's 17 now, Raven Stark.
Is there any conflict, when family clashes with the game dev business?
Yeah. Yeah. It can be a nightmare. Look, it is the best of times. It is the worst of times. When things are going great, it's awesome. It is the dream. Like when you picture in your head a family making video games together. Living on the beach, it is that good. It is that dream, and it is also this apocalyptic nightmare when it goes bad. Because you have a bad day at work, you go home. You have a bad day at work and at work, and it just stays there. There's nowhere to go.
So let's talk about Ninja Pizza Girl. Can you tell us what that's all about?
Well, it's a game about bullying and emotional resilience and ninjas that deliver pizza.
In what order?
Well, actually, yes, in all sorts of order. Well, look, it's set in the future. And the reason why we have ninjas, it's all logical. It's all logical. The reason why ninjas deliver pizza is because the traffic has gotten so bad there is no way of getting a pizza across town in a timely manner, and so you've got all these slums and who built on top of skyscrapers, and that's where a lot of the poor people live down there. And the kids grow up just naturally jumping from building to building and building gantries, and that's how they get around.
Kids are doing that already.
That's right. Yeah, well, exactly. I had a lot of farm kid relatives, and I was a city kid. I'd go out there, and they do all sorts of nuts things. They'd jump off of trees onto rocks, and they'd drive tractors, and I was terrified of them. And that's how I imagine these kids. So the pizza megacorporations, they hire these kids to act as ninjas to deliver pizzas. But the main character, she works... all the others, they work for cool corporations, and they've got sponsored uniforms, and they look great. She works for her dad, and she wears an outfit that she made herself. So she cops a bit of flack.
Cool. So tell us about the gameplay of the game.
The gameplay. Okay, if people are familiar with Mirror's Edge...
Yes.
Mirror's Edge, okay. Think of Mirror's Edge 2D. Think of Sonic. And it's a side-scrolling. It's speed and flow is the big thing. The one thing that we really focused on when designing the gameplay is, does it make you go Yahoo? Does it make you go wee? It's got to have that thrill, that excitement. And that thrill and excitement has got to be easy and accessible, but still allowing for people with skill to be better at it. Which is really... No, it's not really easy. It's a pain in the butt. But it's worth doing it. And it's just fun. It's fun and appealing to play. That's our goal.
I really liked Mirror's Edge, actually. I think it was a rather underrated game.
Yeah, well, it was. I think maybe the vision with it was a bit conflicted. Because, it was this great game, and I was really taking the tutorial. They show you, okay, these are guns, baddie use guns, and it shows you how to disarm them. And the first thing you do is you disarm their gun, and you disassemble it, and it falls to pieces at their feet, and you move on. And that was just such a wonderful image. Her weapons were speed and, pacifism almost. And in the game, what happened was you took their machine gun and you killed 50 guys with it. And it was, wasn't that sort of purity of vision I was looking for.
Yeah.
So with Ninja Pizza Girl, you've made a game that's not about killing people. It's about being bullied and just sort of surviving that.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't take physical damage in the game. The guys push you over, sure, and that's bad. But I mean, what's really bad is when there's a group of the opposing ninja and they push you over, or you stumble, you miss a jump or something, and they laugh at you. And and it's all about how she feels, internally, emotionally, and there's no health bar or anything. What happens is the game actually changes visually to represent her mood. So as she gets picked on, as people laugh at her, as she stuffs up, the world gets grayer and darker. And if it gets to a tipping point, she'll actually drop to her knees, and you've got all these negative thoughts pouring on the screen, and people are laughing at her, and you have to, fight, spam your buttons, and slowly get to your feet, and bang, and keep going. And it can be moving. We've had people report.
It does sound quite moving.
I was playing the demo and I got knocked over by a bunch of jerks.
Yeah.
And I thought that the game was over because I was on my knees, and then suddenly, I hate button spamming in general, but here it really works, and the motion and the return to the color and all of the animations going on there, it does feel very triumphant, and that's a huge success, I think.
Oh wow, thank you. Because we got no idea. I mean, we make it and you go, and it's fantastic to hear that it's actually, because that's just what we're about. We want to affect people emotionally. I think games can be fun, but I think unless they're engaging people on that deeper level,
I think it's a very clever choice also to focus on the way that teenagers do just belittle each other and weaponize their words.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, that was purely from the experience, because I have 4 daughters, and I've seen 2 of them go through the age that our main character is, and the game's directly influenced by their experiences and seeing what they had to deal with, and it's come out in the game. We've tried to draw upon that reality to make something that emotionally resonates. That's good. Oh, I've been doing marketing too long. That came too easily.
We're going to continue chatting with Jason Stark of Disparity Games when we return from this track. You can't kill the baddies in Ninja Pizza Girl.
No, well, we wanted to make sure, because teenagers don't kill each other, generally. At least generally not in this society. I mean, that's one of the things that marks it as a pretty good society. Our teenagers aren't killing each other. And so we wanted to make that important. So you can knock them down, but they'll just get up again. And that's also about bullying too. I mean, despite what a lot of Hollywood films have taught us, punching your bully in the face isn't going to achieve anything. They're just going to get a lot of their friends and figure out a new way of humiliating you. But despite that, it's been really funny seeing some kids play the game. And you'll see the ones who have been bullied. Because as soon as one of our enemies push them over and they start insulting them, because you actually see the insults come up on screen, something in the head just snaps. And we had one girl compulsively for 2 minutes just kick the one enemy in the face over and over and over again. And just kept yelling at him. It was like, okay, you've got pizza to deliver. Just let him go. He's not going to die. You can't kill him. Sorry.
Well, we've heard that games are increasingly becoming like outlets for troubled teens, adolescents. A lot of people disappear into video games because the real world reality is too harsh or they can't deal with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of the things we're very mindful of. Kids are bullied. One of the last refuges they have is video games. So I want what they find there to be worth their time and hopefully help them in some way. We're really excited, actually. It just occurred to me, but someone from Reach Out, who is all about this, about helping teenagers deal with depression and hard times. They've actually reached out to us and are talking to us now about the video game, and I hope that goes well because, I mean, nothing would make us happier than to know we're actually having a positive effect on the world.
And you've gotten quite a bit of attention for this Kickstarter campaign, right? I mean, you've been covered by a lot of the more prominent gaming blogs.
Yeah, let me see. We've got Polygon, Kotaku, Rock. It's dangerous listing them because you always forget one, and then they hate you forever, and they'll never publish anything.
They won't be listening.
They won't be. Yes. Polygon was really cool. They got me to write a guest article, which went off, which was really flattering. It was really cool. Rock, Paper, Shotgun, Kotaku, The Nerdist. Oh no, Nicole's going to kill me. Her favourite website ever, and I can't... The Mary Sue. That was her favourite. She was like high-fiving and going, yes, because she loves the Mary Sue. That's where she spends like 80% of her internet time is on the Mary Sue. And the Mary Sue actually called us wonderful parents.
Wow.
And it's not true. But it was still nice of them to say so. And yeah, so she was just wildly ecstatic, and that was one of the high points of the Kickstarter, being called awesome parents by the Mary Sue.
So we're all confident that you will eventually hit your target of 35,000.
Good. May I borrow your confidence? May I take it home with me and pull it out at night when it's so cold?
Is there anything that happened that you had to prepare for that you didn't expect to happen to reach this point? And are there any behind-the-scenes Kickstarter launch things that we should be aware of?
Kickstarter launch things that you should be... Well, I probably wouldn't tell you anyway, because they're, deep, dark industry. No, there's nothing really industry. You do... I
guess media press and doing interviews like this is a part of it as well?
I guess a kind of secret is the amount of swearing and outright abuse bordering on violence that took place in between takes of our very sweet and touching Kickstarter video. that was shocking. Everyone goes, "Oh, you look so sweet and sincere in that video," and you go, "Oh my god, really?" It was like one of the most stressful, horrible days of your life. Where you it's such a mechanical process shooting a video. You set up the video, you've got to sit down there, you've got to get the lighting right, you've got to say your lines. Because remember, we're not just saying whatever comes into our heads. We write the lines, and it's very mechanical and very soulless, and you have to also, on cue, project soulfulness. And that was very stressful and horrible, and I hope I never have to do it again for the rest of my life. But I will.
One thing that you guys have going for you is that this isn't your first game. You've already done what, at least one other?
I don't know. Have we?
I don't know.
Yes.
You are the
yes.
developers of Run Fatty Run, which is on my phone right now and has been for a pretty long time.
We love that game, but it's got a horrible name. Okay, it has got a horrible name. We get a few comments of people saying, "Do you feel that Ninja Pizza Girl will make up for Run Fatty Run?" And it does. Run Fatty Run sounds like it's a game about bullying from the book, but it's not. You actually play the hero of the game. The person who you are in Run Fatty Run is actually a balding, overweight, middle-aged man. And
so an aspirational character there.
well, we feel that everyone deserves to be a hero. Everyone deserves representation in video games, and we're just getting the same guy in video games. He's got brown hair, he's got brown eyes, he's got a square head. He's voiced by
Troy Baker.
Yes.
Or Nolan North.
Yeah.
Come on.
Nolan North. Sorry, he's voiced by one of those two
That's right,
guys.
yeah.
They look the same. I'm sure we've all seen the image that goes around where they just show all of them. They all look identical, and we want everyone. That's why we're doing a 15-year-old girl, and previously to this, we did a middle-aged, overweight guy.
That
he's
could
the
have
hero.
been the other protagonist like 10, 15 years down the line.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so yeah, Run Fatty Run is from the fat guy's point of view, and it's a very similar thematically to Ninja Pizza Girl, right? Because everyone's thinner than him, everyone's faster than him, and he's just trying to survive
While being chased by a tiger.
while being chased by a tiger. Well, it's the government's. This is
The
terrible.
themes.
This is terrible.
Explain the backstory of
The
Run
backstory.
Fatty Run.
This is my eldest daughter's fault. It is completely her fault. Because she was doing a project for school about the government's response to the obesity crisis. And she said that she has an idea to fix the obesity crisis, which would be really quick and really cheap. It would take place almost immediately at almost zero cost to the taxpayer. Tigers on the streets.
That's pretty mean.
That is extraordinarily mean. And when I told that to people, they laughed and said, I'd play that video game. I didn't even consider it as a video game. And I thought, oh, okay, that would be really quick and easy to make. It wasn't quick and it wasn't easy to make. And so we made that. But as we investigated the idea further, it actually shifted more and more to, emphasizing the fact that the fat guy is the hero and he's trying to survive. But we gave it an awful name. We shouldn't have given it that name.
But that was like at the top of the Australian iOS charts.
Yeah,
for a
it
while.
was. It was the number one app. Not even the number one game. It was the number one app on the iPad in Australia for a bit.
Wow, we're a bunch of pricks, aren't we?
Well, everyone who plays the game gets it and loves it. But if you just see it, it's like we sold like negative 10 copies in America, and so, although if you're on a small tropical island, we rule. There's all these crazy tiny tropical islands. I can't remember the name of them. They have a population of like a few hundred, and we're number one on all of them.
Are these places where there's some sort of famine where
I don't
Like it's-
know whether
some kind of poetic justice
there.
thing going
I don't
on?
know where it is, but it was funny. But everyone we sit down and demo the game to loves it. But until you've actually played it, it just sounds like something you can't play in public. So
Now, before you founded Disparity and made Run Fatty Run, you were part of the industry, right? You were working for the man. Before, right?
Okay, that-
industry,
Is that
just
how you
Chrome.
is that how you phrase that question?
Yes. it
That's
is.
not loaded at
Making
all.
a joke.
Oh,
Yes, I was. That's it. Yes, I was. I worked in there for 15 years for Chrome Studios. It was fun. It was horrible. It was great. It was horrible.
Were there any games that you worked on back then, though, that have influenced what you're doing now?
Look, ooh, that's an excellent question. You learn lots of little... Tough. This is tough. You guys are good, Chad. Oh, man, can I have a glass of water? You learn lots of little things. I wouldn't say there's any one particular title that has directly influenced. The sense of fun in the Tasmanian Tiger series would probably be the strongest influence, if I would say anything, which was really the only game that the studio ever made that was theirs, that we actually owned and created the idea for. And yeah, the sense of fun and just openness for everyone. That's the thing that stuck with me more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that Nintendo, there's some sort of Nintendo Wii U thing that's happening with Ninja Pizza Girl.
Yeah, it's coming out on the Wii U.
That's pretty awesome.
Nintendo are great, actually. They don't seem to have a great rep among indies. I don't know why. Maybe we just met the good guys, but they have been seriously awesome. They sent some representatives out to GCAP. For people who don't know what GCAP is, that's like the big convention for developers in Australia that's held every year. They sent some reps out there. We talked to them. They were really helpful. They got us, we had to pay for it, but they organised a dev kit. They've approved Ninja Pizza Girl. They're really helpful. They've got a great community. They're really great to work with.
Cool. I would be super stoked if one of my games, if I ever made a game, would come out on a Nintendo platform, because they were so influential on me growing up, Nintendo games.
Look, I'll be honest, when I came home and Nicole said, I don't know where I was. Where did I come home from? Maybe picking the kids up from school. I don't work anywhere. Where was I? Maybe at the beach. I don't know. Anyway, I came home from where I don't know. And she told me, we've been approved for the Wii U. And I actually physically put my hands in the air and ran around the house 3 times. Just because it was unbelievable to be. There is something mythical about being on the Nintendo.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we have high hopes for, will probably be released on other consoles too, and no disrespect to Microsoft or Sony, who we also love, but I mean, there's, Nintendo have been there since forever, and to get a game on there it's special.
Yep.
So the plan is also to come out on PC and Mac and on mobile and tablets?
Yeah, on everything.
Yep.
If you can play a game on it, we want to come out on it, really. Because there's a lot of kids out there who don't have an Xbox One. They don't have... I'm getting a bit ahead of myself with the Xbox. They don't have a Wii U, but everyone has a tablet, or everyone has their mum's old phone. And so we just want to get our game in their hands. We won't be able to reach them, and so it's a bit of a pain in the bum. But the game works on iOS devices, Android devices. It works on a PC. It's interesting as a side consequence. If you uncap the frame rate, the game runs at around about 1,000 frames per second on a PC. Just in case anyone makes a monitor that refreshes at 1,000 frames per second, we're ready.
Sweet. I'm sure there'll be some nerds on the NeoGAF forum who are quite happy about that news.
Hello and welcome back to Z Games. You just heard a track from the Guacamelee soundtrack called Puebluco. We've got Jason Stark in the studio tonight. He's from Disparity Games, working on Ninja Pizza Girl, which is currently on Kickstarter, and it's a family operation. So it's you and your wife and your daughter.
One of my daughters.
One of your daughters. And the main character in your game, Ninja Pizza Girl, how much is she inspired by your daughter?
Oh, absolutely. She's almost 100% my eldest daughter. She's basically a combination of my eldest and second. But, I mean, the idea came from, I was driving my eldest daughter home from Kung Fu. Because this was back when she lived at home with us.
Oh, so your daughter does Kung Fu?
She's not anymore.
Does she also like work as a pizza delivery driver?
Yeah, that was the point. That's it. Yeah, you're ruining my story.
Backtrack.
I'm out
I'm
of
sorry.
here. I would flip this table if it weren't really heavy and bolted to the floor.
That's what I'm good at. Ruining.
Could she beat up Ray?
Yeah, probably.
Should she?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be great publicity. We could get her to wear the outfit.
Such good radio as well.
I don't like where this discussion is going. Let's go back to the initial story.
The inspiration. Okay, the story that's ruined. I was driving her home from... Yeah, you should look bad.
Yeah.
I was driving her home from Kung Fu lessons, and she was telling me about her job delivering pizzas. And it's crazy, the stories that... because for some reason, it's perfectly okay to send your 17-year-old daughter off alone in the night to strange houses alone, as long as she's got pizza on her.
It's a shield.
It's like, oh, that'll keep her safe. That warm Super Supreme will surely stop any predators. And she's telling me these crazy stories. And so we go, oh, wow, you're a Ninja Pizza Girl. And that's where that was so long ago. She was 21, so it's like 4 years ago, about 4 years ago, and that's where the idea for Ninja Pizza Girl started. And it was originally just meant to be a light-hearted, silly game. You know, Ninja Pizza Girl, she was going to throw pizzas that were like shuriken, and it was silly. But it sort of just grew by itself as we talked to our daughters and found out the things they cared about and the things that they found scary, and we grew the world, and it just sort of developed this edge.
So if you want to back Ninja Pizza Girl on Kickstarter, you can... What's the easiest way to get there? Just type Ninja Pizza Girl Kickstarter into Google?
Yeah.
You'll find it?
Ninja Pizza Girl, yeah. Ninja Pizza Girl, or go to Kickstarter and go through search there. Actually, if you click... if you're in this country and you go to Kickstarter and you click on games, it should be straight up because it knows where you are. And it will show you projects that are relevant to you. And Ninja Pizza Girl, I think, is one of the first few things that pop up.
Can I ask you about the backer rewards? So you've got the $10 early bird thing where...
Oh, they're gone.
They're all gone?
They're gone.
Okay.
They're gone.
So if I want a copy of the game, what's the minimum?
$15. $15. Are you good for it? I don't know.
I've already pledged, actually. I went on earlier in the week and I pledged, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It would have been a lot nicer. I apologise for my previous behaviour.
That's all right.
You're looking good in that shirt today.
Why, thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. $15 will get you a copy of the game. A little bit more, and we throw in all sorts of things. Look, I highly recommend put down the money for a T-shirt because it has the wonderful slogan "No Pants, No Pizza" on it, which is actually from everyone's bewildered expression. That is actually from reality. It's from the first chapter in our game where she's delivering pizza to people and they are inadequately dressed. And she's trying to, be cheerful, and she just snaps. One guy answers the door in her underpants, and she just hurls the pizza away, crosses her arm, and says, "No pants, no pizza." And you can get a T-shirt with that on it.
See, awesome. When I was playing the demo and that happened, I was like, that's like a lost sale.
she should just grin and bear it.
Like it's a small business, You've got to build a relationship. Well, with your
originally
customers.
we had a cutscene after it with father, and she's apologising to her dad, and he says, "No, that's fine. It's a two-way street. We respect our customer, but they got to respect us too. Besides, his neighbours have just gone crazy ordering pizza because he used to wander around outside like that." But it was actually a little slow, and people's attention wandered, so that's not in there anymore. But that really happened. That is, she didn't throw the pizza away. She was just... Because, as guys, we're sort of used to seeing our fantasies in video games. We get a gun, and then we get a bigger gun, and then we get a bigger gun, and we kill a guy who's big, and then he's bigger and big, and then he's huge, and we kill him, and we're awesome. We're the most awesome, biggest, gunnest person in the world.
We are all very excited in the studio right
we're
now.
just, oh, God, I got to go home and play something violent.
I'm going to back that Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Big gun guy.
Big gun guy. Well, that scene is... Alia's power fantasy, because when it really happened and there was a guy there and he didn't have pants on, she just felt awkward and delivered the pizza and told me the story. But what she wishes she could have done was hurled the pizza into the bushes and gone, "No pants, no pizza."
That's so cool. I'm guessing it's a lot of fun to think up like the very high tier Kickstarter backer rewards, like for people that give over, say, $500 or $1,000?
It's actually excruciating. Because they're all gone too. They're all the big limited ones.
What's the biggest one you got?
The biggest one was $1,000. It went in the first 24 hours, and it was to appear in the game as the evil CEO of Pizza Megacore. And the guy, I can't remember his name because I am a horrible person.
He's the villain in your game.
He's part of the team that makes Fraps. He's awesome. He's heavily involved in the Australian industry, and I can't remember his name because I am a horrible person.
It's cool.
But he looks awesome. He's got this massive beard. And it's this crazy... Like, we could have never come up with a character design this awesome and original in a million years, and... I'm profoundly grateful to him, not just for his money, but for his face. So yeah, that was the biggest tier, and that went. And then other ones, the small, they're also all gone. Was basically appearing in the game as a character, And we really want to get in contact with those people and talk to them if there's any little stories or issues they would like to be in the game, or just little things, shout-outs to people they like, or hobbies they want to do. We'll get that in there too, because it's a world full of pizza customers. So you have little stories and little interactions with your pizza customers. So, but you can't have it because they're all gone.
Damn. So I can't be in the game anymore.
No?
What if I want to give you like 5,000? You'll make room for me, right?
Oh, my integrity is not for sale for 5,000.
Not on air.
Maybe not for 5,000.
20,000.
Yeah, sure. Done.
Jason, it has been wonderful talking to you. Thank you very much for dropping by and chatting with us today.
It has been awesome. Thank you for having me.
Best of luck with the Kickstarter. We'll be following it closely. Hope you reach the goal of 35,000. And we urge our listeners, if you've liked what you've heard about Ninja Pizza Girl, and you want to be a Ninja Pizza Girl fighting the Megacorps and doing your parkour and delivering pizzas, get onto Kickstarter and make a pledge. $15 will get you the game. Awesome. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of this week's episode of Zed Games, guys. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back next week at the same time. And if you'd like to check us out on the internet, get a podcast, or look at photographs of us on Facebook, that
We're
is
very
all
handsome.
Oh God, we're so handsome.
handsome. We're beautiful.
Am I on the internet?
You will be tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah, I'm so glad I wore my sexiest outfit.
So you can find us at facebook.com/ZGamesAU. I don't know, look for Zed Games on the internet. Will that work?
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah,
Yeah.
so professional.
Is that how the internet's work?
All right, guys, we're out of here. One more track, though. Which of these tracks would you like to play as the last one, Jody?
Can we play the FX song Shadow?
What's
it's
the story
the
with this one?
K-pop one, and it's amazing.
We'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.